Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolkKnits. My name is Casey, and this is a channel where I share all about my love of fiber arts. Knitting, sewing, spinning, crochet, whatever we might be up to around here. And I also occasionally share about life here in the foothills of the Ozarks on a small farm in Arkansas. So if any of that sounds like it might be your cup of tea, make sure and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future content. Today I have a bit of a chatty podcast episode for you. I'm going to catch you up on all the projects I've been working on and some plans as well. First of all, I'll share a little bit about what I'm wearing. I did recently finish this hope dress. This is a raglan style dress pattern from Style Arc, and it's meant for woven fabrics. I did use a stretch linen, which I got from Linen Lab, and it's a black and white gingham, which is my favorite fabric of all time. I use it in way too many things. I do like the raglan shaping of the bodice, as well as these big flowy sleeves that are brought in at the wrist with some elastic. And it's got a flowy skirt with some pockets. It's very simple. It has a facing around the neck and a button in the back at the neckline. And I love dresses, flowy dresses. I think they're extremely comfortable. They're easy to style. They're easy to wear year round. And I think this is going to be something I will wear a lot in my wardrobe. I have been doing quite a bit of sewing lately because my hands have been hurting so badly. I've had a flare of my carpal tunnel and tennis elbow, so I have not gotten to do too much knitting, but since the last time I podcasted, I have so many projects that I need to share with you that this episode's going to be fairly full. The reason for the flare, I think, is all of the colorwork projects, the stranded colorwork that I have done one right after the other. I did the hot water bottle cover by Laura Penrose, and then I did that in like a weekend, I feel like, and then as soon as I finished that, I started a stranded colorwork yoke, which I'm going to show you in a moment, and then I did some mittens, and my hands just totally quit on me. So I've been wearing my splints at night, and that keeps both wrists in the neutral position, and that helps a lot. I also have some compression gloves that I wear to help with the pain, and then I really have just given myself a few days of a break from knitting. I sewed instead, and I think I'm able to slowly get back knitting again, and that's been working out fairly well. So let me show you one of the main culprits for my current pain, which is the Lumme pullover. And I am so excited to tell you all about this. But before we jump into that, I'd like to give a quick thank you to the sponsor of today's video, which is Craftsy. Craftsy is an amazing online community where literally millions of crafters, DIY lovers, and makers like ourselves can find inspiration and learn new skills. If you're not new here, then you'll have heard me talk about how invaluable the Craftsy classes were in my spinning journey. They continue to help me hone new skills by being able to watch amazing instructors show me step by step in these videos. Another craft area I really enjoy is quilting, although I don't have a large repertoire of skills in this area. I recently started a hand quilted tote, and with that, the class Big Stitch Quilted Clutch. This is taught by Jessica Marquez, and I have to say it's so great because you not only learn about big stitch quilting, which I'm using in my tote, but if you want to follow the step-by-step directions, by the end of this you'll have your own hand quilted clutch, which is perfect for a little purse, but in my opinion I think it would make the most wonderful notions pouch. The great thing about Craftsy is that, like most of you, I am multi-craftual. I not only love knitting, I love spinning, I love sewing, I love crochet, I love cooking, drawing, painting, and so many more things. With Craftsy, you can find classes for all of these interests and so many more. And with this community, you can connect with other makers and DIY lovers like yourselves that share similar interests. You can share your project updates, ideas, and inspiration. That's why I'm thrilled to be partnering again with Craftsy this month. The first 1,000 people to click the link in my description will receive a full 1-year premium membership for only $1.49. Don't miss this chance to up your craft game at an amazing price. Thanks again, Craftsy, for sponsoring today's video. All right, y'all, so let's chat a little bit about this super fun Colorwork yoke sweater. Now, I don't know about you, but with me, sometimes there'll be a pattern released, and at first, I look at it and my first thought is, that's not for me. I'm not crazy about it. And then I see it again and I think, I like it a little bit better, but I'm still not crazy about it. I don't think I want to make that. And it might even be a year later, but I'm introduced to the pattern over and over and over again. And the more I see it, the more colors I see it in. There might be one that just really jumps out at me, or it slowly grows on me, and then suddenly I see it in a project and I love it so much, I immediately have to have it. And that was the case with the Lumme pullover, which is a pattern by Sari Nordland. When it was first released, I wasn't crazy about it, and I don't know why exactly. I just felt like some of the motifs were really big, maybe a little bit too florally, and I just didn't have any desire to knit it. And I've seen it now over and over again, and it has slowly grown on me until one day I saw it in a project, and I don't even know whose it was. But anyway, I saw it and I immediately loved it and had to have it. So this pattern is knit with a Aran weight gauge, I believe. So anyway, I got on Wool & Company website. Wool & Company is one of my favorite places to order yarn from. It's a brick and mortar store in Illinois, but they have a great online store, and I end up ordering from there very, very often. They have a great selection of Isager yarns, and I was looking through the Isager yarns and I saw the Alpaca 3. So this is a blend of merino wool and alpaca, but the yarn strand is made via an I-cord, but it's still kind of stretchy. It's nice, but there's so much halo to it. Anyway, as I said, I love Wool & Co. So no shade here to Wool & Co, but I'm not sure who rates these yarns as far as their thickness and what category they should go in, but this was in the DK weight category. And when I got it in, I'm sorry, but this does not look like a DK weight yarn. In fact, I don't even think I could possibly knit this at a DK weight gauge. Like, I just don't think I could do it. So this is definitely, to me, to be knit at like a 15 stitch gauge even. 15, 16, 17 stitch gauge. I would consider this to be knitted in Aran weight gauge. And it's so fluffy. It's so airy. It's got this inner core to it of air, but it fluffs up once it's knit. You can compress it, but as it's knit, it just puffs right back up. You can see there's no holes whatsoever. This already looks blocked, even though it has not been. And I think this is going to end up being an extremely warm sweater. So for Arkansas, I don't know if that's going to be good or bad, but I think even if, for some of the winter, I could totally wear this as a coat and not need anything else. It's so soft though. It's incredibly soft. You can see this double layer. You can see the inside of this yoke, how warm that's going to be. But it's so soft. I really, really love it. Now, I knit this entire circular yoke in a weekend. I knit it during Rhinebeck weekend because I was a little sad I was not there. And I think that that contributed to a lot of my flair. After having just knitted a couple of other colorwork patterns, I knit colorwork with one strand in each hand. So I am throwing or flicking with one hand and I'm picking with the other hand. And because I am an English style knitter, I'm not a continental knitter, I probably don't have the best technique, and I really use this hand a lot to pick. This hand doesn't move much, and I'm really picking that yarn with this hand. And I think that that absolutely led to the flare. I had just so many colorwork projects, and so I was doing that repetitive motion with something I'm not really used to and probably don't have the best technique with, and that is why I have been hurting so badly. I'll show you my other colorwork project in a moment, but yes. So Morgan from Morgan Unraveled, she is also making a Lumme pullover, and like me, she's had to set it down because we have some test knits we're working on, but we're really excited to both knit this sort of semi together, like a little mini cowl, and have our Lumme sweaters at some point. I'm not sure when they're going to be finished and get the attention that they deserve, but hopefully before too long. So this pattern does not have any short row shaping at the neck or in the back until you split for sleeves. Once you split for sleeves, you add short row shaping to the back. So you can see I've already done that. There's quite a bit of extra fabric in the back compared to the front. And it does that through to the underarms. Then there's also an option to add short row shaping at the very bottom of the sweater before you do the ribbing. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I'll try it on and see if this was enough short row shaping for me. Usually that is, and I think that this will be fine and I won't need the extra short row shaping at the bottom. But I do plan on making this not too crazy long. I probably will wear this tucked into high-waisted pants or skirts or over a dress, and I'm going to have the almost bell sleeves because I won't be doing any decreasing on the sleeves, and then I'll have the colorwork chart at the end, which I'm very excited for. And then I plan on having a shorter waist with this and quite a bit of ribbing. So I don't actually have that much. I think this would knit up really quickly due to the large gauge that it is. It would just be such a cozy, warm, fun winter sweater. So I definitely plan on working on this before too long to finish it up and wear this winter. This is a sweater that I could not really wear until January, February, and that's probably the only time I can wear it here in Arkansas. So I'd like to finish it before February for sure and be able to enjoy it that month. So that's my plan. I do have a nearly finished object to share. It's something that is completely done with the knitting. I just need to do a little bit of seaming. So let me grab that. Not too long ago, Samantha Guerin, who is one of my favorite designers, absolutely fabulous designer, was showing me one of her new designs that was about to be ready for testing. And she asked me if I would help her name it, which I love doing. I always think it's so much fun. And she had been looking for maybe like a chess inspired name because the mosaic slip stitches in it definitely lend itself to a checkerboard, chessboard. There were quite a few different chess names that were already taken on Ravelry. So I threw out there the grid Gambit, and she really liked it and decided to use it. And I ended up testing this cowl, which I fell in love with the moment I saw it. So this is my version of the grid Gambit shawl, or not shawl, cowl. And it is knit up using two different yarns. One is my hand spun, which I made with Hello Yarn fiber. It's actually not a club color. Sometimes she will put up a one-off color, like a one-of-a-kind, and I snagged one of those up a year or so ago. And I actually made this hand spun probably a year ago. And I knit it up with one strand of Newburgh Yarn Co. Hudson DK in the color Adirondack Haze, I believe. Let me just tell y'all, I am in love. So it's completely done. I even blocked it, and it's like a grungy rainbow of beautiful colors. I'm so thrilled with how it turned out. What is left to do is to just seam these two sides together. I think that this is going to be something I wear a lot. Now, one thing I am going to do is take some advice that I picked up from Leanne from the Knitty Stew. She told me that with one of her cowls that she knit from Andrea Mowry, I think it was the Night Shift cowl, she does not seam it all the way down. So she only seamed it halfway, and then it's able to open up at the bottom and lay a little bit better. And I have found that applying that to some cowls that are knit on the bias like this and seamed in a similar way has worked out very well for me. So I'm going to continue with that streak and seam this up only halfway so that it lays like that at the bottom. I'm very excited to have this done. It's so soft and it's incredibly comfortable. And I think this is going to be my new go-to cowl pattern. I have so many skeins of single hand spun and even just really nice single DK weight skeins that I think would knit up beautifully together. So I think this is going to be a great pattern to have in my library, and I will 100% be making multiples of these. And also I'm just so excited to have another finished object to add to the YFK Mosaic Mayhem knit along, which is still going on through the end of the year. So you still have all of November and all of December if you want to join in. All you have to do is post a picture on Instagram with the hashtag YFK Mosaic Mayhem KAL and tag me in it just to make sure I see it. Or you can get on Ravelry. There is a thread and you can show us your project there and you'll be entered into the knit along as well. Another pattern that I cast on recently is another stranded colorwork that has really hurt my hands. And it is being held in my bag from Sorella, their Taylor Swift collection. And it says, "In my crafting era." I don't know if this bag is still available or not, but I will look, and if it is, I will link it in my description. I am an affiliate for Sorella, so I will put my affiliate link, and if you decide to order one from them and you shop through my affiliate link, that does definitely help me out, so I appreciate it. But I am absolutely thrilled with my Alma Mittens. So I have one finished mitten and half. I just think they're incredibly beautiful though. Now this is a worsted weight yarn. It's the new Daily Wool from Pearl Soho, and it is so incredibly soft. I just cannot even tell you. It's so soft. That double stranded yarn that you're getting from the Colorwork adds a little cozy to it, and it's worsted weight, so it's a nice weight of wool to keep your hands warm. It has corrugated ribbing, and then it goes into this really pretty flower pattern. I am actually making these in a mini cowl with Anna from Brook Willow, and I think that she's using hand spun. I know she's got quite a bit that she has been recently spinning with her spindle, so I think that's her plan, but she will update us on her podcast, I am sure. I don't have that much left. This is a fairly quick knit. I knit up one mitten in one day. I had the entire day to knit, and I finished that entire mitten, but because my hands have been hurting so badly, I've had to pause on all the stranded color work. I am knitting this with Magic Loop. I started off with Addi Flexi Flips, and then I switched to Magic Loop, and I just find that with mittens, for some reason, Magic Loop just works so much better for me. I never have tensioning problems, and I don't get ladders, so for me, Magic Loop, just as you know, it's not my favorite, but when I'm having a lot of hand pain, I have to have the longer needle tips. They've got to be 5 inches. Otherwise, my hands literally tire out so fast that I can't make my hands grip the shorter needle tips. So Magic Loop it is. And one tip I will say for Magic Loop is that 40 inch is your best friend. I don't even think 32 inch is really long enough. I will use 32 inch. I do use it fairly often. But if you really want to have a nice, easy experience and have very little chance of getting ladders, I think a 40-inch cable is your best bet. The reason for that is because you're able to keep them sandwiched close together, and the cable's long enough that it's not pulling apart here at the sides. So definitely I would suggest getting a long cable, and that will always make your magic loop experience easier. I've got my basket here that I kind of carry around with multiple whips in it. I do just want to share that I did completely finish a sleeve on my Ginny Cardigan. So I finished that ball, and instead of continuing on with the body, I decided to do my sleeves and see where I'm at on yarn at that point. I only used half a ball of this metamorphic yarn on my Ginny Cardigan, which is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. It's a long belted cardigan, and it has a really nice simple texture all over the body and the sleeves. And then you knit a big cushy shawl collar and a belt which cinches it at the waist. So I have talked before about how I'm not 100% sure about my yardage, how much I've got, and if I have enough. I did reach out to Spin Cycle and asked if they possibly had another skein hidden in their stockroom in this color, and they do not. So I've got what I've got, and that's all I've got, which is 5 skeins of this metamorphic yarn, but that's a lot. 5 skeins of this has a lot of yardage. So I'm thinking I will probably be okay, but I'm going to go ahead and do my other sleeve. I've started it already. And then once I finish, I will have a little bit of a better idea how much yarn I have left to do the shawl collar and to do the rest of the body. I'm wanting to reserve 1 full skein for the shawl collar, and I'm hoping that that will be enough. So I still have 1 skein I can use to finish the body and 1 skein for the shawl collar. And I have this skein that I can definitely have enough to finish the sleeve, and then we'll see how much I've got left. One thing I did even think about doing is finding a very similar color to knit the belt with, but we'll see. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I want to see how much I've got left. I'm going to save the belt for last. Oh, we've got a lot of projects going on here. Now, I do have a secret test knit that I cannot share too much with, but I will share what I've got right now using Sonder Yarn Co. Luxe, their new Luxe Sport, and it is incredibly luxe and amazing. So Melissa from Sonder Yarn was very helpful when I was purchasing this yarn. She showed me some different color combinations that I requested in pictures with the yarn together, and I was able to land on these 2 colors, which were my first choice. I knew when I saw them on the website that I loved them, and as soon as she sent me a picture of them beside each other, I knew even more that they were perfect. So this is the color Into the Woods. And as I mentioned, this is the Luxe Sport, which is a 65% BFL, 25% Massom, and 10% Cashmere. Very luxe. And then this is the color Take a Hike. And I think that they complement each other so beautifully with a lower contrast, but still noticeable, really fun green duo here. So I've been working on that, and my hands just completely gave out. I had to pause for a little bit, but I'm back to trying to make progress on that. And I can't wait to share this with you guys whenever it gets finished. Now, the last project that I want to share with you today in the knitting genre is part of the Softly Cal, which I am co-hosting with Sari Nordland. She last year released her debut book, which is called Softly Timeless Knits, and it has the most incredible patterns in it. I really truly would knit any pattern in this book and love it. So for this knit along, we are starting November 1st, and all you have to do is choose a pattern, and whips are welcome. You don't have to finish it. And if you want to participate, I have started a thread on Ravelry, so you can join in the fun there, or you can post on Instagram, or both, and use the hashtag softly, K-A-L, softly Cal, and make sure and tag Sari and I so we don't miss any of your posts. The very exciting thing, though, is that Sari has sent me 2 of these books to give away to 2 of you guys. If you would like to enter to win one of these books, all you need to do is comment on this video and mention the book Softly, and I will know that you are interested in winning a book. I also have a giveaway open on Instagram right now, so if you would like another chance to win, you can visit my Instagram page and comment on that post, and you'll be entered to win there as well. So I've got 2 books. 1 winner will be selected from this video. 1 winner will be selected from my Instagram post. And as long as Customs will let me send it to you, then you are eligible to enter. So I'm very excited about this knit along. I think it's going to be so much fun. I had really been thinking about knitting the Isager cardigan, which was my favorite from the second this book was released. But I don't have yarn in stash for it right now. And I really wanted to use the Juliet yarn that was used in the original sample. And I really cannot buy any more yarn right now. I really want to try this month to not spend money on yarn, and we will see how well I do. That's my plan. And so because of that, I decided to cast on a different project with yarn that I already have. A few years ago, I had started a project by Vivian Xiaochen, and it was a fisherman's rib sweater, which I loved. I would still love to have it, but I was just having so much trouble reaching gauge. I was using Quint & Co. Osprey, and it just was not happening. So recently I went through my projects, like, I don't know, 2 weeks ago, and I have just frogged so many things. It felt amazing. And that was one of the projects I ended up frogging. It is an Aran weight to bulky weight yarn. It's listed in the worsted weight category, but there is no way I could get a worsted weight gauge with that yarn. I think that it is almost chunky, bulky weight, but I could do Aran, you know. I think 15, 16, 17 maybe stitch gauge I could get with. And this pattern that I have decided to use it in is the Apollonius sweater. So this pattern is a circular yoke sweater, and it calls for a bulky weight yarn. The gauge on this is 14 stitches, and I have no trouble getting that with this yarn. I am knitting the size 5, which should give me a 49.5 inch bust, and it calls for 4 to 6 inches of positive ease. I know I'm not going to have 6 inches of positive ease, but I think I'm going to have a nice, you know, maybe 3 inches of positive ease. I don't want this to be crazy big, but I would like it to be just a comfy sweater that I can wear very similarly to the way that Sari is wearing hers here. I think that it will go with everything. Yesterday, I went to hear the symphony orchestra play. Our local symphony orchestra, they performed the Star Wars suite as well as the suite that John Williams actually based the Star Wars music on, which is from Gustav Holst, The Planets. Love that suite. I wore my Henrietta skirt that I sewed, and I wore my ranunculus that I had knit short sleeves in a very similar color to this, and it made me really want this sweater because I think that I could wear it very similarly. Now, it was pretty warm yesterday, so I'm glad I had the short sleeves, but I think all winter I would wear this just with everything. I did cast on to take with me to the orchestra. I've got my program here, my Star Wars program, and I didn't get very far. I literally cast on. You do some stockinette so that you can create the roll at the top of the collar, and then you switch to ribbing, and that's pretty much as far as I've got. So I mentioned I do have the Quince & Co. Osprey, and I am using my reclaimed yarn from the previous sweater I had been knitting. I love this. It's got a very oatmeal color to it, and it makes me feel like I really want a white creamy sweater. I don't really have anything in that more milky white color, and I feel like it's something that's missing in my wardrobe. I don't know exactly what pattern I would knit. I would love some suggestions. Something maybe similar to what I'm doing right now, but I think I would like it in a DK weight yarn. So I may need to go down that rabbit hole on Ravelry, but I think that you guys probably could definitely give me some great suggestions. If you can think of a good DK-ish, worsted DK, maybe even sport weight pattern, that would be perfect to give me that creamy, milky sweater I need to fill that gap in my wardrobe. Let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate that. Last but not least, I do want to share one other sewing project. I'm so bad about showing my sewing projects. This last week I sewed 3 different things, and I'm only going to show you one of them. I run out of time, and I always forget to have them ready. If y'all are interested in this sewing, then I will try to do a better job of sharing my sewing projects on here as well. I feel like most of you are here for the knitting. But I finished a fall Zadie jumpsuit. So this is a pattern I absolutely love. I have another linen one, and it's one of my top favorite makes, and so I decided to sew another one. I have some gingham linen fabric from Blackbird Fabrics, and I thought it would be absolutely perfect in a fall jumpsuit. Now, I made it in linen. I don't mind wearing linen year-round, and because of that, the short sleeves, it will actually be something that I can wear summer, spring, fall, and winter. And I think that this is going to be the perfect fabric to actually add any of my cardigans over, and it's going to look perfect because this is such a neutral, and it's an olive green color that I think matches basically every cardigan I own. So I think that's going to take it really well into fall and winter. I did go down a size from the last one that I made, maybe 2 sizes, and I am so pleased with the fit. I haven't really gotten to take any pictures of it yet because I haven't worn it yet. I haven't worn it out and about yet. But as soon as I do, I will share it on Instagram or here on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Instagram, I do a little bit of a better job of sharing my sewing makes there. I still have so many that I have not shared at all. But you can find me at YoungFolk.Knits, and I do have quite a bit more of my sewn outfits if you want to follow along there. All right, y'all, that's all I'm going to share today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoy videos like this, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future video content. Don't forget to enter the giveaway because this is such a fun prize. I think everybody needs a copy of the Softly book by Sari. We've got multiple knit-alongs, so I think there's something for everybody to join in and craft along with. And also a big thank you to Craftsy for sponsoring today's video. All right, y'all, until next time, happy knitting.